On this mic in front of you. For your record, Mark Amodei from the 2nd District of Nevada. I understand the primary mission of ANC. The staff has been outstanding to work with. I've learned a lot in 2 visits to ANC to find out what's going on with ANC in terms of its history, present operations, expansion plans, and what they plan to do in the future. I understand that the primary mission of ANC is to conduct burials. But when you look at what the legislation says that was passed by this House, it says that is the primary mission, and you're going to hear about that, and there's no dispute about that here today. But there is nothing in the legislation that says you can't have memorials at ANC. And, quite frankly, when you look at the history, in the last 27 years there have been 4 memorials constructed at ANC. So many times you hear the argument, well, oh my God, if we let this one in, they're all coming in. The bar is pretty high, and it should be very high. But I got to tell you, ANC is a phenomenal and unique national treasure. This application is a phenomenal and unique memorial request. This is not somebody where somebody's favorite unit or whatever, and hey, we want to do this or that. This is almost 10% of the casualties in the helicopter war. Let me repeat that. Almost 10% of the casualties in the helicopter war. And that's not just pilots and crew members, that's medics, and by the way, it's all branches of service. Air Force, Marine Corps, Army, Navy, medics, crew members, crew chiefs. And so, when you look at this and you say, is there no application that's worthy? Indeed, it's interesting to note that the advisory committee tied on this issue. It was 3-3. One member was absent. So they sent it up to the executive director and to the Secretary of the Army, and they made their call. And with due respect, it's like I understand that. But my concern and the reason for introducing the legislation, which I didn't do lightly, is my fear is that we have a de facto standard if these folks can't make it. Helicopter casualties in the helicopter war, 10%, and I won't steal the Colonel's thunder here, if this isn't worthy, and by the way, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I have a visual aid. As you can see, this is a very expensive visual aid. Members of the committee, this is 5 square feet. And you say, gee, that's a nice visual aid there, Mr. Amodei. That's what they've asked for. 5 square feet. That's 1,000 casualties per square foot, if you want to look at it that way. 4 of these in 25 years. That could be the 5th one, and who knows when the next one is. That is not the sort of thing that is going to crowd out burials at ANC. And I would remind you, when you look at that legislation again, primary mission, no doubt about it. 10% of the casualties. 5 square feet. There are areas that are unsuitable for graves. So what these folks are asking for, and listen, it's one of the few times I can say it anymore, I'm too young to have said, you know, I served in Vietnam. Thankfully, it's one of the few things I am too young for. But you grew up with that war on TV. It was the first TV war, too, probably. And so you look at that, and as you think about people in your community, as you think about medics, as you think about Air Force people, as you think about Army people, Navy people, Marine Corps folks, how many people's names aren't on that wall down the street because these folks were around doing their job? So I would submit to you, ANC is a national treasure. This is a unique request that the advisory committee tied on. And so here we are saying, hey, you know what? Let's really make sure we take a good look at this because this is a pretty worthy cause. The request is for that much. We ought to be able to find 5 square feet for something special for nearly 5,000 casualties in the helicopter war for people who died on those. And so with that, I would just say a working standard that doesn't allow a worthy application to make that grade is a working standard, quite frankly, that needs a little bit of help. because the answer shouldn't start with no. It should be you've got a very high standard to meet. And if you meet it, though, we will give you that much square feet. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.